by the way. All right, so today we are talking about the MetroList MLS application. This is a phone app. This uses the Prospector Plus system to pull up information about listings. MetroList has quite a few different apps to give you listing information, but this one's kind of unique because it has a few very special features that I'm going to be showing you today. So what we're going to start off with today is by adding the MetroList MLS application from your Google Play Store or your App Store if you're on an iPhone. From there, we will go ahead and use the quick search option. That's one of the ways to search within this application. We'll talk about some of the other search features that you have available to you. We'll be playing with your contacts, how to access your contacts. That's, again, another really great tool to have right here, especially if you are set up for auto prospecting. This is the only application that allows you to modify your listings. And that's just really great because if you're out with your family or if you are just grabbing a cup of coffee and you get a call from a client saying that they want to accept an offer, you can change the listing right then and there. You don't have to go all the way back to the office or all the way back to your house. It's just a really convenient way to take the MLS with you. We also have some links and some administrative tools. And then there's another option. In lieu of the app, there is a shortcut, a browser shortcut that you can add. I'm going to be showing you why you may or may not want to use that and how to actually add that shortcut as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my phone screen. There it is. Let's just go ahead and bring this guy over here so you can see it. All right, so what I've done is I've reflected, move you back over here. I've reflected my phone screen so you can actually see what this looks like as we're going through this application. So I'm on an Android device, and if you're on an Android device like I am, you're gonna wanna use this little Google Play Store. That's this guy right here. If you're on an iPhone, you're gonna wanna use the App Store. That's that blue icon with the white popsicle sticks that look like the letter A. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to open up that app store. This is, of course, a free app. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. But we're right up here at the search bar. That's the search bar right up there. We're just going to start typing in MetroList, so M-E-T. And you can see that I've searched for it in the past. So you just type that in and you run your search. And you'll see a few different applications right here. They have a little advertisement right up there, but here are a few different apps. The one we're looking for is this one right here that says MetroList, it says MLS, Prospector Plus right there, MetroList MLS. This is the one that we're looking for. And we're gonna go ahead and click on that. Now, I already have it installed. You might have it that says download, install, get. Sometimes there's a little cloud with the down arrow. It really depends on which model of phone that you're using. But once you find this application right here, you're going to install it, and then it's going to add it to your phone home screen. So I already have it installed, so I'm just going to click open this time. But again, you would just click on it. Now, I signed on earlier this morning. What's nice about this is that if you've signed on within the last half an hour, it hasn't kicked me off. So I can just sign in. I don't have to sign in again. But let me go ahead and log off so you can actually see what it looks like when you launch the application. So once you launch the application, this is the screen that you should see. It says your agent ID and your password. This is the same exact agent ID that you get to log into Prospector. So I'm just going to type that in. I'll type in mine. All right. No peeking. And I'll just hit log in. And again, it just takes me right in. So what are we looking at right now? Well, it says MLS MetroList up here in the top. You have a little search bar, you have 5 icons, and then you have a list underneath each one of those icons. So the first thing on our list is the quick search. So how can we run a quick search? That's this address bar right here. Now, I could type in an address. I could also click right here, there's a listing number option, so you can run a search by listing number. So let's go ahead and let's stick with address this time. And I actually have an example ready to go. So this one, we're going to type in the address, and we're going to type in 10314 Trankle, Tranquil, Q-U-I-L, and Glenn. So you can further specify it. Oops. Let's make sure that that doesn't rotate again. All right. So you can further specify it with a suffix. You just want to make sure that the suffix is entered in correctly. I typically don't put the suffix just because you don't need to, and I'm kind of moving as fast as possible. But I've put in this address, just the street number and the street name right there, and I'm going to click go. You can hit enter. You can hit this little magnifying glass right there. So I'm just going to do that. And now what I'm seeing is a list of results. Now, the first one is the listing I was looking for, the active listing. But because we ran a search by address, we'll find all of the addresses that also reflect this property. So for example, right down here, this was a listing, it was canceled, and you can see it was a residential land sale. This actually happened in the past, and because all of those listings are stored in the MLS, you would see all of the instances when this specific property has been sold. If you have a more popular street name, something like 123 Oak Avenue or something like that, and you ran that search, you would probably see multiple listings in different areas. But because this street name is so specific and so unique, it only came up one time. So that's just one way to run a search. That was a search by the address. We're going to click on these listings in a moment and actually see more information about the listing. Let's do another example. Now, what I just did there, I did a little quickly, I clicked on this little hamburger menu right here, these three horizontal lines, and that opens up your menu, and you could just jump straight into doing something here. You can also click on the MLS MetroList logo there, and it just refreshes and takes you right back to the home screen. So let's do another example. Let's do a search by listing number. Now I'm going to type in the listing number. This is the same listing. It's 221084 and then 363. And again, I'm just going to run the search by hitting the little magnifying glass or go or enter, whatever you have on your keyboard. And this time, because this was one listing, this was there was only one listing in the list of results, it immediately pulled it up. So it didn't pull it up in a list view. So that was a search by address as well as a search by listing number. All right, so what I'm looking here at, let's go ahead and go through these details real quick. We have all of the photos from the MLS. This one has 98. You can watch a slideshow. You can get a full screen view. You can even see a little gallery view at the bottom. If you click on the photo itself, it expands. If you click on the photo again, it contracts, and that's how you bring up that little gallery view. I like the gallery view because I can just jump straight to this image, for example. I could also go through them individually by clicking on the little arrows there. In the top right-hand corner, it says more. If I click on that one, I could see any virtual media that this listing has added to it. So walkthrough tours, Matterport tours, all that stuff. I could see where this property is on a map by clicking center map. Right here, it says SSO links. SSO is short for single sign-on. And what that means is, let me just go ahead and click on that so you can see, is that we have these other programs that you can launch into without signing in again. So if this was your listing, you would see all of these options right here. I can see them because I'm an administrator. But if this wasn't your listing, you would still see Cloud CMA, Realist, Realtor.com, Realtor.com Community, and Showing Time. So you would be able to see all of these options. So what you could do is you could launch into the Realtor.com Community Report without having to sign again. And you can pull in that community report for this exact property. So that's why they call it single sign-on. We've already signed on. You don't have to sign on again. I'll hit close. Again, underneath that More tab, we also have the neighborhood report from Realist, and I could also get, I'm sorry, this is the neighborhood report for Prospector Plus. So I could click on that one, and that pulls up this really nice neighborhood report that I can email or text. I could also go back. And under More, the last option was the Realist tax database. This is going to, we've imported all that Realist tax information into MetroList as well. So if I click on Realist, you'll see just a nice little quick tax document with things like the owner name, tax information, all of that great stuff right here. I could run a comparables report within Realist. I can launch their neighborhood profile. I can even launch Realist and get more information on this property if I needed to. I'm going to X out of here. Now, as we move down, I can add this property to a cart. That's what that little star is. And what's nice about adding a property to a cart is if I'm not ready to contact the listing agent right now, I could add them to a cart and I can quickly pull up that information later. So for example, I can add it to an existing cart, a new cart, add it to an auto prospecting cart. But let's just go ahead and add it to a different cart. Let's add it to my call later cart right there. And I'll click add. And again, when I go to reopen that cart, which we will do in a moment, I can see all of those properties in the current status. So it continually updates the status, the price, the pictures, everything. It's just an easy way to quickly pull up this exact listing later today. If this is your listing, you could revise it right there. You can share this listing. Let's go ahead and click share. Now, if this is your listing, you would have all of these options. Again, I'm an administrator. That's why I can see all of these options. If this is not your listing, you can email a report to a client or another agent, or you could also text a report to a client or an agent. So those are two options that you have within this mobile app. I can also get directions to this property. I can use my phone as a GPS to navigate to this property, which is really nice. As we move down further, you have recent activity. This is a brand new listing. You can see the public remarks right there. The agent remarks, also known as the private remarks. This listing is scheduled to have an open house, so you can see those open houses right there. Really nice to see that. As I move down, you can see the listing summary, the agent office information right here. I can call the agent, email the agent. I see the property features moving all the way down the list to the very bottom. As you can see, it's all of that information right from the MLS. Now, what's really nice about this is when you add a listing or when you add an open house to Prospector Plus, information is automatically funneled here within minutes. So it's very quick, very fast. Right here's the property history. You can see all the property history. Again, you can see where this property is on a map, and you can even use a little nifty mortgage calculator. All right, so let's go back to our menu. I just clicked the back button and it took me right back here. So that was the quick search. Now, if this is the first time you launch the application, you may see a pop-up that says that this application would like to know your location. And if you do allow your location to be seen, you'll see this little locate me button, this little target right up there. And that's nice because what it's going to do is it's going to use your GPS location and it's going to pull you up in the interactive map view and pull up all of the listings around you, which can be really helpful if you're holding an open house or if you are just looking for ready to take out your clients for an impromptu showing in the area. You can actually quickly pull up all the listings right around you. So that's something that's kind of nice if you want it. All right, let's go down through some of these searches next. We have the interactive map search. Now, this is my favorite search option. And before we launch into it, the reason is that this one works almost exactly the same way as it does in the Prospector Plus system on your computer. And that's important because it is a very powerful search with a lot of really great tools, and it communicates with your computer, unlike the standard search. The standard search is completely different from the computer version. So the interactive map search, my favorite search. I'm not going to go through the entire search because I could probably go on for an hour about the interactive map, but I will show you some features within here. So right here with the interactive map search, I'm just going to click on map search right there. That's going to load up, and here you can see that it shows you the map very briefly, but then out comes the search criteria. So this is my search criteria right over here. I have it defaulted to residential. If this is the first time you've used the map, it may prompt you to select the default. But if I wanted to search for a piece of land, I can just as easily click on where it says property type. Right up here, I can click on that and I can select land right there, and it will just select it for me. I want to do a residential search today, so we'll click OK. Now, as I move down, I have all of these different features: property subtype, price, pool, area, and districts. If you're looking at my list and you notice that it's not the same as yours, that's because you can add more search criteria if you want to. And those are found right up here in fields. So let's go ahead and add something. I'm going to go ahead and click fields, and you only have to do this once, by the way. Once you add those fields, they'll save there unless you remove them. So as I'm coming down here, if I want to do a search based off of, let's say, builder name, I'm looking for a particular builder. So I can select that option. It's going to highlight it in blue right there, and then I can click add. And once I click add, you'll notice that this number 31 changes to 32. So I'll click add, and it's moved it from this available fields tab into the selected fields tab. So I'll click that. Now by default, it's added to the bottom, so I can scroll down and you can see that it's been added right there. All right, let's click save. And you'll see as I scroll to the bottom of my list, there's the builder name. I can click on it and it will allow me to search by builder name. So that's just one example. You can add so many. I've added things like pool, flooring, all of that stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and close out of the search criteria. And if you're looking at my map, you might notice that it says 46 properties, but there aren't any results showing. That's because in the Prospector Plus system, under my preferences, I've defaulted them to temporarily hide those results so that I can see where I'm at, add my search criteria, and when I'm ready, I just click this Show Results button. So I just got a question that says, how do you search for multifamily apartment complex or commercial properties? Great question. You can find that right here under the criteria. That's going to open up the search criteria again. Now for multifamily, I'm going to just click on property type. I did that a little quickly. Property type right up here. And I can do, let's see, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, I'm sorry. Residential is for multifamily, and that one we would narrow it down by doing property subtype, and I can do 2 houses on lot, 3 houses on lot, condominiums, half plexes, all of that stuff right there. Another option, residential income, that one is going to give you different subtypes like duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, 5 or more units. That's more of like an apartment complex. So you can see that right there. And then another option that was asked was commercial properties. So again, under property type, I would just come up here and I would go to commercial sale right there. You could also do a commercial lease if you have an owner just looking to rent a property. So a bunch of different options right within there. All right, so let's close out of there. We're looking at residential properties. We have 46 listings. As you zoom out, and to zoom out, you just pinch on the screen. You can also use the plus or minus icons if you want to, but you can zoom out by pinching. Now, because the map boundaries have expanded, now we have 69 listings. And if we want to zoom in, we just do the opposite. We expand our fingers, and now we're down to 33 properties. Let's take a look by clicking Show Results. And you can see all of those properties have been applied to our map display. You have a bunch of green properties. Those are for active listings. If you're wondering what those bubbles mean with the numbers, that just means that the properties are so close together that they've clustered them up. So I can zoom in a little bit further and they'll start to break apart, or I can click on them and it will automatically zoom me in. So right now we are looking at the map view of the results. You can see that that's selected up here at the top. I could also look at these in a list view. So I'll just click list. And the reason that this is nice is that you can also sort the properties. So if you wanted to sort them by price or status, you can do that right here as well. And I can see all of those properties that were on the map. Let's go back to the map view. Look at some more of these really great features. All right. So if I click on one of these listings, it's going to give you a little preview of the property. I can see the photo. I have all of these options right down here. I can see what the street view, the directions to the property. I can again add this to a cart, set up some routing, and use my phone's GPS or Waze or Google Maps or Apple Maps to actually physically navigate to this property. If this is your listing, you can revise it. You can still share it. You can also pull up the neighborhood report. We briefly touched on that. We're probably not going to dive too deep into it, but you can click on that, play with it, and get a lot of really great information. And then you can also add a search radius right down here. But I did want to show you the street view, which is kind of cool. So I'll click on Street View. Now, this is a really nice feature is when you first open up the Street View, you can click on that little phone there and you can see that I can move my phone around in real space, and it has a little augmented reality experience that you can use to see the Street View. If you don't like that, you can click on the phone again. You can just take your finger and pan around on the map, on the image as well. So that's a nice thing to do before you drive clear out to some places that you can see the street view and see if it's a nice neighborhood. To exit this street view, we just click on that little arrow right up there. Let's go ahead and click on that and it takes you right back in. Now let's take a look at some of these map tools that you have available. Just like on the interactive map, you can see right up here underneath the More tab, we have things like you can add properties to a cart. We talked about that, but one that's really great is this drawing feature right here. I can click draw, and you have these 4 separate shapes that you can use to draw. So I have my radius, my pencil, my rectangle, and my polygon. And when I'm teaching this on a computer, I typically suggest use this polygon feature because not everyone has a mouse. And these ones right here, the radius, the pencil, and the rectangle, those are click and drag options. This polygon, I can click, 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 and that's what makes it a nice, easy shape if you're on a laptop. But because we're on a phone, this is a great opportunity to use this little pencil one because I just click on that pencil and I take my finger on the map and I just draw a shape. So let's say I want to look in here. And what that's going to do is it's going to narrow down the search just within these boundaries here. I can actually draw multiple shapes right here under More. I can draw again, and let's say I want to draw a shape within a shape. Let's say I like this area, but I want to stay away from this river over here for whatever reason. I can actually do that. I can click on that shape and under More again. So as you can see, I drew 2 shapes under More. I can come down here to Edit Shapes. And here are my 2 shapes. This was the second one I drew. I'm just taking a guess. It's kind of hard to tell, but by here it says area. It looks like it's smaller, so I'm just going to do that one. I'm going to hit exclude, and as you can see, it's changed that shape to red. I can also drag and move that shape as needed. I can bring it down here a little bit closer. And you can see once I let go of it, properties are added or removed. Now this works, let's click done. This works really great because this one's right here on the boundary, just barely there. Oops, zoomed in a little too far. Let's go back. Close. This works really great. Let me try one thing real quick to pull up those shapes again. Recent searches. This one. Oh, lost my shape. All right, that's okay. We can draw that shape again. Let's just draw a shape just for example. Where were we? Okay, so we're drawing shapes. Now, what's really nice about drawing these shapes is that, and drawing multiple shapes, is that your clients don't want to look in the entire area, Merced. They like these little pocket areas here and there and everywhere. So it's a nice way to isolate those areas, those little neighborhoods that they're looking for. What's also great about drawing a search is under more, what's great about the interactive map search is that under more, you can save a search. So when I save a search, I'm not saving these individual listings. How many were there? 19 listings. I'm not saving those individual 19 listings. What I'm saving is the criteria, which is right in here. So let's go ahead and give you an example. Save a search. Let's name this one Merced. And we'll give it today's date, which is the 15th. So I'll just go ahead and type in 7 slash, where'd my slash go? There it is, 15. And I'll click save. Now the interactive map search communicates with the computer version. So if I want to rerun the search tomorrow on my computer, I can do so. Maybe I'll get 20 listings because there's one new active listing. And then the next day, maybe I'll be down to 15 because 5 of those active listings went to a pending status. So it updates the search, it reruns the search, but it saves that criteria so I don't have to draw this shape every single time. Now let's go ahead and get a new interactive map. Let's just wipe the board clean by clicking on our menu, click map search again. I'll click on that one and it just wipes it clean and gives you a new map. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you right here is that you have these layers. These layers will give you additional information, things like parcels or even hazards right there. So like the FEMA flood data, we can click on that one. Let's close out and you can see all of those layers right there. You can see flood zones and really, again, those layers give you a lot of information. I would highly suggest you go through all of these layers, see what you can find, or take an interactive map class because we do cover all of those layers within there. But again, just a lot of really great information to have with you on your phone instead of bringing your computer around wherever you go. Underneath more, you can also, again, set up routing. Let's see, was there anything else that I wanted to do in here? Nope. Okay, I think we're good for that. Last thing that I want to show you within the interactive map is you can also get a street view. Before you even walk out the door, you can take your little Google man right there in the bottom corner. He was right here. Now I'm taking him with my finger and just dragging him anywhere there's a little blue line. And then again, that's going to give you a little street view of the area. So the first time we did a street view was actually for a listing that was listed on the market listed. This was just for anywhere that Google can drive. You also have a map view and a satellite view. All right, so enough about the interactive map. Let's go on to some of our other searches. We have a standard search right here, but this standard search isn't the same standard search that you have on your computer. This is an interactive map search without the map. And because of that, it is a search that, so if you were to save the search, you would not be able to pull it up on your computer. And vice versa, you can't pull up your saved standard searches from your computer onto the mobile platform because it's completely different. I'm going to show you a way to get around that in a moment, but stay tuned for that. But again, yes, it's just a standard, the standard search on your phone is just the interactive map search without the map. Underneath the menu, we have a listing number search. This is nice because I can put in the listing numbers. Let's say if I'm going on a tour and I have them, all of my listings organized by listing number, I can just type them all here. If I click sort results as entered, it'll keep them in that particular order because maybe that's the route that I wanted to take or the order that I wanted to go view those homes. That's something that you can do as well. Let's go under menu. You can run a hot sheet from here. A hot sheet is a market analysis tool. I actually prefer to run your hot sheets on the computer version because it doesn't really do it justice here. When you pull up the results, you don't really, for me, it's kind of difficult to understand what's going on. Furthermore, to me, it makes more sense because on the computer version, you can also set it to just automatically email you any changes. So again, to me, that just makes a little bit more sense instead of creating a hot sheet right here. If you want to learn how to use the hot sheets, take one of our stats and trends classes. It walks you through all of that information as well. Recent searches, what you may have noticed is that there was a little issue that we dealt with before, but I was able to rerun the last search by clicking recent searches right there, and that pulls up all of the last searches that you ran. You can see all recent searches and hot sheets. You can narrow it down by just searches or just hot sheets if you want to. This is going to pull up all of the interactive map. Sorry, these are all the recent searches. Let's go to the next one, which is the saved searches. Now you can save up to 250 saved searches, so you can see all of mine right here. But as I'm moving down, we had Merced and today's date. So here's that saved map search that we ran right here on our phone. Again, you can pull up any saved map searches from your computer as well right here, and it's going to rerun the search, pulling you the most up-to-date information. That is a huge time saver. Now, if there are any listings where the listing agent has marketed their open house through Prospector, you can also pull those up right here in the open house search. Here's an open house search. You can see all of the dates. You can go up to 15 days into the future. And then as you scroll down, you can add any amenities that you might want to search for. Things like if it has a pool, bedrooms, bathrooms, all that great stuff right there. But we also have broker tours. Now, this is if your office or if your broker is setting up any special events, and you can actually go and see all of those. We don't have it. MetroList doesn't have any broker tours, so we won't find any results there. This is really big in the Bay Area as well. But one thing that is very unique to this application right here is the caravans, also known as the marketing tours. So if you go to a marketing meeting, you can actually go on tour to look at all of these homes. And this is a really cool feature because I can click on caravans and it's going to pull up all of those marketing meetings with all of the associations that you might be attending. So let's say you are going to this Ed Car tour meeting. Let's say you were there at 8:30 this morning. What you can actually do is you can click on that meeting and it's going to show you all the listings that have been added. So instead of printing out a list of all of those listings, you can just pull them up right here. Okay, I'm going to go to this one next on Shoreline Point. I can click on it, get all of the property details before I get there. I can also get directions to the property like that. That's going to open up Google Maps. That's going to load, and then you would just put in your starting point. That'd be where you are, and then from there you can navigate to that property. So that's a really nice feature to have as well. So that was under caravans. Let's go to the next feature, contacts. So this is going to allow you to pull up all of the contacts that you have saved on your phone, excuse me, saved in your Prospector Plus system. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click contacts/prospects. And here you can see all of my contacts. And at the very bottom, you can see here's my client, Kermit the Frog. He hasn't been using his portal for a while. Let's say he decides to call me and say, Anthony, you know what? I want to put an offer down on this house. One of the things that I joke about, I say, what's the first thing that you should do? Well, the first thing you should do is take them off auto prospecting so they don't see any new listings and get cold feet, right? Well, what I can do is I can just click anywhere in this white box right there. That's going to open up his profile. And right here under more, I'm just going to click more. And I can actually see his client portal. I can look at the properties in his prospect cart. I can delete them. You do not want to delete them. Instead, what you want to do is click Edit Contact. If you click Delete, you have to start all over again, and you don't want to do that. We're going to come right down here to where it says Status. Right now it says Active. We're going to click on that and switch it to Inactive, and then we'll click Save. Now what this does is this turns off auto prospecting. And that's really crucial because when we come back to our list of clients, actually let's go back to contacts this way. You'll see that he's not there anymore. He hasn't been deleted. He's just underneath, under more. He's just underneath the inactives. Now that's really important because when he comes back and says, you know what, um, or if we've turned out to be outbid or anything like that, we didn't get that property, I can just go back to my inactive list, put him back to active, and we'll just pick up right where we left off. If I were to have deleted him, then we would have had to start completely from scratch, and that's a big headache. So just switch him to active or inactive, and that way you can go back and pick up right where you left off. All right, so that was underneath your contacts. This is the only application that we have that can actually do that, where you can turn on or off auto prospecting, launch into a caravan tour, update your listing. We're going to come to that in a moment. Under contacts, really quickly, I just want to show you that we have an agent office search right here. This one's really nice. If you lost someone's business card, you can run a search by agent name. If you missed a phone call, there's a lot of spam callers going around right now, but if you missed a phone call and they didn't leave a message, you can actually run a search by phone number, and you can see if they called you and if they're actually an agent. So that's something that you can do as well. I just clicked the back arrow to minimize that view. Now under menu, you can see listings. Now we saved that one property to our cart before. If I want to pull up that property because I'm now ready to call that listing agent, I can hit carts and I'll go to that specific cart, which was my call later cart. Now it's showing me a map view of all of those listings. You can see them all right here. I can also see it in a list view right there. And all of these properties, when I added them, they were all active. And since then, this one's been canceled, closed, closed. This one's gone to a hold status. These two are pending right down here. So it updates those listings as time moves on. This was the active listing that we selected on Tranquil Glen Court. So we could go in here, click on it again, and contact that listing agent right there. Let's go back to our menu that was under listings, carts. You can also launch into trend graphics. Unless you're using this on a tablet, a big tablet, I would suggest that you avoid that. It's very small and hard to see everything. It works great on a computer or a tablet, but from a phone's perspective, not too good just because it's so small. My listings, I don't have any listings because I'm a MetroList trainer, but your listings would appear right here. You would just click my listings and those would populate right there. Let's go ahead and let's just borrow someone's listing real quick to show you what it looks like. I'm just gonna borrow one real quick. Let's just borrow this one. What you would see is you would see a list of those properties and you would click on that, and then you would be taken to this view where you can update your public or private remarks as needed and directions to the property. You can do that. You can update the status information, change that status as well. You can update the listing price right here if you want to. And you can also manage the pictures. If you get a call from compliance and they say that, hey, you can't have your photo in the picture of the property and you need to change that. You can come right here, you can select one of these, for example, this one, and under more, you can edit, rotate, crop. Oops, under more. I was pointing at it with my finger and I realized that you couldn't see it. You can edit, rotate, crop, or delete the picture as needed. So you can do that all right from your phone. If you really need to get a picture of the front of the house and your, let's say your photographer called out sick or something like that, but the compliance department is calling and saying that you have to have at least one picture of your property on your listing. You can actually just come here with your phone and under more, add pictures. So you just take one photo of the front of the property, add that picture right here, and then you satisfy that compliance. Then you could also then have your photographer come and give you the photos, and then you could add more to really showcase your property. So that's something that you can do as well. Right, again, from your phone. Makes it super easy. And that was all underneath, back. That was all underneath the listings menu. underneath my listings. Your office listings, that's really nice because if you're holding an open house for someone in your office, you can quickly pull up all of those listings right there. Right here under links, you have Realist, which is really nice. You can launch straight into Realist. We also have Cloud CMA, Cloud Streams, MetroList Pro websites, your super web settings, Realtor.com professional search, showing time, and Homes Connect. So you have all of these other tools and resources available to you. I do want to point out that you don't see anything right here that says desktop. We're going to be coming back to that, so stay tuned for that. And then right here under admin, you can see your profile. You can manage which devices have access to your prospector account. And then they also have a learning center with different tutorials and videos from Rapatoni. And you can also log off. All right, so we're down to the adding a shortcut step. So that's our last one. So let's go ahead. I'm going to click on the home button on my phone. That's going to take me back to my phone's home screen. And what we're looking at, let me just pan over here, is what we were using today so far was the MetroList app, and that's this guy right here. But what we can also do is we can add this desktop bookmark. And what this does is this takes you, it opens up your browser. I'm on an Android, so I'm using Google Chrome, and it takes you to the MetroList login page. So let me show you how to do that. I'm on an Android device, so I am using Chrome. If you're on an iPhone device, you have to use Safari. That's the only way that this works. So Android, you have to use Chrome. iPhone, you have to use Safari. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our Chrome right there. We're going to type in our web address, and that web address is prospector.metrolist.net. It's the same one that you use to log in on your computer. Click on that. And here you can see the login page. Now, what we're going to do, again, for Android devices, we're going to come right up here to where it says those three little dots. It shows us that. We're going to come right down here where it says add to home screen. We're going to give it a name, or we're going to leave it as MetroList Services. I'm just going to delete it and change it to MLS. Why not? And I'll click add. And then on my phone's home screen, you can see that it was added right there. Every time you click on this little button, it takes you right here to the login page. For iPhone device users, very similar. You launch Safari, you type in prospector.metrolist.net. At the bottom of your iPhone, you should see a little square with an upwards arrow. That's the universal sharing button that they have. You're going to click on that, and up should come two rows of icons, one in color, one in grayscale. On the grayscale ones, you're going to swipe to the right until you see a little square with a plus. You're going to click on that. You're going to give it a name, and then you would save it from there. And that does the same exact feature as we just showed the Android users. All right, so once you've added that bookmark, you can then type in your agent ID, just like we did before, and your password. And click go. Now, what I like about this bookmark is that if you're a fan of the MLS dashboard like I am, it actually lets you use that as an option. So I can launch into Prospector Plus, which is what we were just looking at. We could launch into Realist, Superweb, Showing Time, all of those features right there. If I need to pull up the MetroList Information Center, pay my bill online, I can do that right here. I can use those Showing Time options, have those agent marketing tools, and regional and nationwide MLS access right there, MLS Toolkit. I also have the association links, and that takes me right to the association website. So I have all of that available to me. So that's super cool to have. Next, what I could also do is I can click that Prospector Plus MLS button. That's going to open up Prospector Plus, but it's going to open up the mobile version. So it looks exactly like what we were just playing with earlier, except what we're going to see is under the links right there, now we have a desktop version. When I open up the desktop version, it's going to give you a little warning. I can hit continue. It's going to load. You can see that I have 3 tabs down here at the bottom. And essentially, the only reason I want to point that out is that if you have a pop-up blocker preventing that from coming up, that could be the case. But there are 3 tabs. And now we are on the desktop view, which looks a little bit more familiar if you've played with Prospector Plus in the past. Now, the reason I really wanted to point this out is, remember how I said that you can't pull up your saved standard searches in the mobile version? Well, now we're on the desktop version. So I can come right here to my searches. That's right up here at the top. I can come to my saved searches. That's the first one down. And I could run those standard searches again if I needed to. Let's go ahead and let's do, what's that one? Is that a map search? It looks like it is. Close that. Let's do Fixer. Let's run that. And that pulled up my list of results in a standard search. So I can do that way if I really want to. All right, but that was the bookmark version. That's the shortcut that takes you right to your web browser. All right. All right, so let's just recap. We talked about how to add the MetroList mobile app that's in your Google Play Store or your App Store. We ran a quick search with both the address and the listing number. We ran a map search. We talked about the standard search and some of those other search options that we have. Let's go ahead and pull that back up so you can see that one more time. So we did the map search. We looked at the standard search, talked about the listing number search. Hot sheet we didn't run, just again because it doesn't come through really. It doesn't have the same impact as you would have on a computer. We looked at our recent searches. That's going to hold the last 20 searches you ran. So that's great if you got kicked out or if you need to restart your phone or something like that, your phone died. We talked about how to save a search and how to access your saved searches, look at open houses, broker tours, caravans. We talked about our contacts and the agent office search. We looked at our listings, how we can access the carts and my listings and revise our listing right there. And then we touched on the links and the admin tools. Not a lot to do in there, but that's fine. And then we finished up with adding the shortcut, the web browser shortcut to your phone so that you can access those saved searches, the saved standard searches, as well as the MLS dashboard. All right. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in right now. If you have any questions that come to mind later today, you can also give the MetroList Training Department a phone call. This is our phone call. This is our email address. Go ahead, give us a call, give us an email. Happy to answer any of those questions for you. If you didn't receive your recording, it does take about an hour or so, but if you don't receive it again, give us a call, give us an email. Happy to help you out there. Let's see. Oh, and if you need immediate assistance and the training department isn't getting back to you quick enough, it's probably because we're in the middle of a class. Give this phone number a call. That's going to take you to our main line. From there, you can talk to tech support. They're available 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 7:30 in the morning till 6 in the evening, and Saturdays and Sundays from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. They're well versed on all of our programs, tools, apps, all that stuff, and they are waiting for your phone calls. All right, so Raj, you said, do all LoopNet listings show up in the MLS? Now, I'm not too familiar with LoopNet. Can you go ahead and refresh my memory? Is that for mostly commercial properties? I believe, okay. Yeah, so the only way the listing will appear in MetroList is if an agent goes into MetroList and enters that listing, and that agent does need to be represented by a broker. So I'm not familiar with how LoopNet operates, but with that being said, I wouldn't say all LoopNet listings appear in MetroList because we don't have a feed from them to us. But you may see some listings that appear in LoopNet as well as MetroList because that listing agent went through and listed it in multiple places. Did that answer your question? Okay, perfect. Were there any other questions I can help anyone out with today? Oh, okay, perfect. Excellent. I'm glad that worked out. All right. Renee, I see that you raised your hand, and let's go ahead. And if you do have a question, go ahead and type that question right here into your question box on the right-hand side of your screen and hit enter or send, and that'll come through and I can, oh, you did. All right, perfect. I looked on to the other screen and there it was. All right. Can you add an open house in the app? That is a good question. I don't believe so, but let's double check. Yeah, I don't believe so. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pull up that phone screen again. Let's go home, map search. I don't think you can add one. You would have to revise it. Status information, no. No, I'm sorry, you can't add an open house within the application. You'd have to add that on your computer version and then it would be funneled to the app. Yeah. All right. Did anyone else have any questions? Oh, my pleasure. Happy to help. Well, I'm not seeing any questions come through. You know what, Renee? I do want to add on to that. Within the application, you can't, but you could go to the desktop version that we had bookmarked on our phone. You can go over there to that desktop version and you could add it from there underneath the revised listing menu. Oh, okay. So Renee, so you're saying that yours doesn't let you save the bookmark or yours doesn't let you add an open house? Okay, so Renee, so if you are in this version right here, the mobile application, if you are in this version, you will not be able to add the access the desktop view. This one is only available. This one will not. Sorry. Okay. The application will not allow you to access the desktop version. You have to save a bookmark version on your web browser, and that allows you to access the desktop. We did that by going into Chrome or Safari, depending on which phone you're using. Chrome if you're on an Android, Safari if you're on an iPhone. You launch that, you type in prospector.metrolist.net. Let's move these tools out of the way. You type in prospector.metrolist.net, you sign in with your ID and your password, you're taken to the MLS dashboard. From here, you launch Prospector Plus. This is going to give you the mobile version first. And then right over here where it says links, then it should show you the desktop. So this is only available on that bookmarked version. But from the desktop version, you can go into your listings menu. I don't have any listings, but from the listings and the view revise your listings option, that's how you could add an open house. Not technically in the mobile version, but still kind of. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you still need help with that, just please feel free to reach out to us, contact us via email or phone call, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I'd be happy to walk you through the steps again if you needed help. All right, let's see. Did anyone else have any questions that I can help anyone with? Oh yeah, my pleasure. Any other questions? All right. All right, well, I'm not seeing any more questions coming through, so I'm going to go ahead and end this webinar so the follow-up emails can be sent out with those recordings. Thank you again so much, everyone, for joining today. Hope to see you on the next webinar later this afternoon, and please have a fantastic day. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Raj. Appreciate it.